For today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Ordinary People. This is a 1980 film. It was quite popular at the time, quite acclaimed at the time. It won the Academy Award for Best Picture of that year. Still to this day, I think it will be among mention of the quintessential family dramas, if that's kind of a category, like dealing with the family unit, with grief, with healing, with confronting these terrible situations, which kind of cloud over someone's life. It's the first time I've watched this in quite a long time, maybe like 20 years or so. I remember actually the first time I watched it was on TVO, TV Ontario, a Canadian channel. They do Saturday night at the movies. So every Saturday they'd show a popular or acclaimed movie and commercial free uncut. Obviously, and have some interviews with critics. Sometimes people involved with the movies and stuff like that. So that's how I first got introduced to the movie. And what's kind of interesting about this movie is that you go into it maybe with a certain idea of it, depending on what you already know. I already knew what kind of the general premise of the movie was going in, because I think like my mom told me actually, like she's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this movie. It's about the son, and he was with his brother on the boat in the middle of a storm, and the brother dies, and it's a very sad movie, and things like that." And so yeah, I ended up watching it with my sister, which is kind of a fun, interesting movie to watch with a sibling. But yeah, it was a good memory though. But you might know that going in, you might not. But as the movie kind of begins, you don't really have the idea of what's bothering these characters. It begins with this dream sequence, basically, and the character awakes, and obviously there's something wrong. You see the seemingly normal, ordinary family dynamic, but you do sense, there's something underneath that's bothering me. So like slowly it unravels the plot of the fact that there was this tragedy, and there is a guilt that the surviving son feels, and a sense of hopelessness with the father, and maybe even a sense of blame with the mother in a certain kind of way. So we got all that going on in the movie, and that's basically what we're dealing with, and how the son Timothy Hutton, he goes to see a psychiatrist played by Judd Hirsch, and kind of to begin the healing process, as it were. And obviously we have Donald Sutherland playing the father, Mary Tyler Moore playing the mother. So a great cast, and what's notable about the movie, maybe this is something that I'll get out of the way as soon as possible. It's a weird thing with this movie, in a similar kind of way with like something like Dances with Wolves. There are people who hold a grudge against it. Whether this is something that kind of developed over time and revealed itself to whatever superior Academy Award favorite movie may have been better. But it started this kind of routine, this curse, I guess, against Martin Scorsese, where he would lose the Academy Award to an actor turned director, and this is Robert Redford as the director of this film. First time directing, and a great piece of work from him. I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, maybe you could say, "Oh, well, he's at this point obviously already super famous, super influential. He could pick any movie he wanted, and he could make it work and things like that." And this is a popular novel too by Judith Guest, which I think he got the rights to before it was even published, which is usually the case anyway. But I mean, it's not as cut and dry as that. I mean, there's always a risk in making a movie. Needless to say, he really does show a true talent behind the camera with this film. Obviously, first and foremost, I suppose, because of his instincts and skills as an actor, he understands characters very well. He knows what to show of these characters, knows how to progress the story, and I mean, really, when it comes down to the technical stuff, the camera work, the blocking, staging of the characters, arranging of shots, it's very powerful in using the characters. I mean, there will be, obviously these intimate scenes in the psychiatrist's office where we see these two characters kind of alone in their world. We'll also see scenes that suggest this isolation of a character, in public, on the train or in the shopping mall, with others surrounding them, but suggesting this isolation of the characters. And maybe like one of my favorite sections of the movies, when father and son they're putting up the Christmas tree, and there's just this imposing shot of Mary Tyler Moore after she has discovered something about the son, and she's coming to confront him, and in a way confront them both, almost like this antagonistic kind of way, which just greatly composed scene. So Robert Redford is a first-time director. Excellent job. He won the Academy Award, obviously, against Scorsese, which would continue the streak of losing against Kevin Costner for Goodfellas. This time around, it was Raging Bull. Funnily enough, nobody really seems to hold that much of a grudge against Clint Eastwood for The Aviator, but maybe just because I love The Aviator, but it's not quite Goodfellas or Raging Bull. Aside from that, so we got a first-time director, does a great job. First-time actor on screen, Timothy Hutton. He won an Oscar for this, Best Supporting Actor. The performance is great, and it's it does such a great job with assembling this cast. Sitcom actors like Mary Tyler Moore, playing very much against type, almost maybe to her detriment, where like people for years would be like, I hated you in this movie, you're so horrible, so evil. And Judd Hirsch coming off from Taxi, kind of revealing this whole different aspect to him. He might be my favorite character in the movie. He's very touching, kind of like, it's not quite this, I don't know, Good Will Hunting, Prince of Tides, definitely not, psychiatrist changed your life, therapist changed your life kind of thing. He knows his place within the family, and I mean, overall, it's not necessarily an endorsement for therapy. The character himself, he says, no, I don't believe it's right for everybody, which is kind of an important thing. But yeah, he does a great job. Donald Sutherland, I think, actually might be his best performance. He's fantastic. Funnily enough, I mean, Timothy Hutton won Academy Award. Mary Tyler Moore was nominated. Judd Hirsch was nominated. Donald Sutherland was not, which is crazy to me. He's just so good in this movie, particularly that last scene with Mary Tyler Moore, where he kind of makes his own revelations of what he's kind of discovered about himself, about his wife, about his entire life, which is just this heartbreaking scene, which apparently he, at least according to trivia section IMDb, he didn't feel right about kind of the initial takes of the scene. So the final version of it we see in the film is kind of this composite of two different times filming the scene, but it's pretty seamless, I would say. But I mean, just great performances all around, and maybe the most talked about performance is Mary Tyler Moore, just because it is so different, than stuff she's done, like the Mary Tyler Moore Show, like the Dick Van Dyke Show. This, is just so not something that she would do. And yeah, it is also kind of, I don't know, maybe watching it today and thinking about gender roles, gender politics today, maybe she does get kind of a raw deal as the character when you think about it. Because, I mean, everyone, I mean, the thing that people say most about this movie is, like, oh, Mary Tyler Moore, what a bitch, horrible, cold woman. But I don't know. Like, everyone grieves in their own kind of way. So this was just her way, as, you know, unfortunate as it is. It's not like she's the villain of the movie, the evil queen or something like that. It's just, you know, a terrible tragedy of the movie. Like, you know, looking at it, I don't think, you know, I do think the characters move forward by the end of the movie. Particularly Timothy Hutton's character makes good strides in, you know, what he is able to just accept about the situation, about his own grief, about his own guilt, and how he reacts to his family. But, you know, it's not necessarily a happy ending, which, I mean, I guess is why it is as effective as it is, because you know, you kind of walk away from it thinking, well, okay, there was healing in this film. There were characters who came to understand each other. You know, there was resolution in a way, but not necessarily, you know, let's all sing kumbaya and have a happy ending kind of movie, which works, which is, you know, it's true. So there's truth to this art, and you know, watching again all this time later, I mean, you know, it hits you very emotionally. It really does. I think it's a great movie. Yeah, as good as Raging Bull, who cares? I mean, they're two different. Like, I mean, if you're really gonna hold a grudge against this movie for winning an Oscar, I mean, come on. But I definitely recommend it. If you like dramas, if you like great acting, this is just one of the best. So that's my review. Ordinary People. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for more reviews on the channel. Until next time, be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you later.